Welcome back to Historic Coin, the channel where every forgotten coin unlocks a treasure chest of history. Today we have something truly unique, a 1991 South African token that defies conventions and sparks curiosity. At first glance, it looks like a simple piece of silver metal, but one side shows a majestic lion above the words, Soli Deo Gloria, Latin for glory to God alone. The other side carries a traditional coat of arms surrounded by the bilingual inscriptions South Africa and Suid Africa. And here's the twist. This coin doesn't follow the usual rules of South African currency. Its shape, engraving style, and mysterious markings suggest a story far beyond ordinary mintage. Could this be a religious token, a colonial-era commemorative piece, or something even rarer? Stay with us, because as we dive into every detail, this 1991 coin might just become one of the most intriguing numismatic tales you've ever heard. You won't want to miss a second of what's coming next. The Lion and the Latin. Message. One of the first things you'll notice on this coin is the lion. A strong, elegant figure proudly standing at the center. Lions have symbolized strength, nobility, and leadership for centuries, both in African heritage and European heraldry. The lion on this coin appears just above the phrase Soli Deo Gloria, a Latin expression meaning glory to God alone. This motto was famously used by classical composers and religious reformers. In this context, pairing a powerful lion with a spiritual declaration sends a deeper message, a combination of earthly strength and divine authority. It suggests the coin wasn't made just for money, but as a symbol of a greater purpose, spiritual, national, or cultural. A coin that breaks the mold. Now take a look at the shape. Unlike standard round coins, this one has a squared, almost rectangular form with rounded edges. This unusual shape alone tells us this isn't a product of the official South African mint. In 1991, South Africa used round coins with precise uniformity. This piece, by contrast, appears handcrafted or produced in a very limited minting run. The raised borders and deep engraving further suggest that it wasn't made for mass circulation. Such coins are often classified as fantasy coins or private tokens, and they usually serve commemorative or ceremonial purposes. The enigma of H.A.P.D. One of the most cryptic elements on this coin is the acronym H.A.P.D. above the lion. This doesn't correspond to any known mint mark or government code. Its meaning is still uncertain. It could represent a private organization, a religious society, or perhaps even the initials of the person who commissioned the coin. This further strengthens the idea that it's a privately issued token. It may have been created to celebrate a local religious event, to raise funds for a church, or as a spiritual reminder, distributed by a mission or faith-based institution, active in South Africa during the early 1990s. A coat of arms. Unlike any other, flipping the coin reveals an intricate and traditional coat of arms, full of fine detail. It bears resemblance to European heraldic crests, but it doesn't exactly match any official South African government emblem. This implies that the crest is symbolic, possibly created by a private group to echo nobility, tradition, or authority. Surrounding the crest are the bilingual inscriptions South Africa and Suid Africa. The use of both English and Afrikaans reflects the bilingual nature of South Africa at that time, but the design doesn't follow official mint guidelines. That makes this coin all the more intriguing. Why 1991 is so important. The year 1991 was a pivotal moment in South Africa's history. The country was emerging from the shadows of apartheid, with major reforms underway. It was a time of political tension, cultural shifts, and growing calls for freedom and reconciliation. If this token was issued in 1991, as the faded inscription indicates, then it may represent more than just faith. It could symbolize hope, strength, or even protest. Coins made during such transitional times often carry deeper meanings. The fact that it is dated 1991 gives us a timestamp to place it within this context of change and awakening. Soli Deo Gloria. More than just words. The Latin motto, Soli Deo Gloria, has deep religious roots. It was used in the 16th century Protestant Reformation to stress that all glory belongs to God alone, not to kings, not to governments, not to worldly power. Its use on this coin strongly implies that the piece was intended for spiritual or religious purposes. Whether used by a missionary group, a church, or a local Christian community, the phrase elevates the coin's status from ordinary token to theological artifact. It wasn't just currency. It was a declaration of belief. Was it a religious token? Considering all the elements, the lion, the motto, the unknown initials, and the year, it's quite likely that this was a religious token. Such tokens have a long history in South Africa, especially during the colonial and missionary periods. Churches would create tokens to hand out during baptisms, confirmations, or special religious events. These coins held sentimental or moral value, not monetary worth. They were often cherished by families and kept as keepsakes. This 1991 piece could be one such example, a relic of personal faith and cultural heritage. Materials, craftsmanship, and preservation. The coin seems to be struck in a base metal, possibly pewter or a zinc alloy, judging by the texture and patina. It's not polished like modern currency, and the edges appear slightly uneven. Another sign that it was handcrafted or pressed in a small-scale minting operation. Despite its age, the key features, the lion, the text, and the coat of arms, remain visible, suggesting it was never used for regular trade. Instead, it may have been stored or displayed with care, preserving its symbolic meaning for over 3 decades. Why collectors love mystery coins? Numismatists are drawn to mystery coins like this because they tell personal stories that official coins never can. Unlike government-issued currency, private tokens often reflect the beliefs, struggles, and hopes of individuals or communities. This coin, with its bold imagery and spiritual language, may represent someone's faith during a very uncertain time in South African history. That makes it more than collectible. It makes it meaningful. And for serious collectors, meaning is priceless. Rarity equals value in the coin world. Even though this coin isn't made of gold or silver, its rarity and backstory give it significant value in the world of numismatics. Fantasy coins and private issues often fetch high interest because they are hard to trace and even harder to find. If only a handful were ever produced, then you may be holding something incredibly rare. Its value isn't just in metal, it's in the narrative it carries. And for collectors who seek coins with untold stories, this 1991 token is a hidden treasure. A symbol of identity and belief. Beyond its rarity and design, this coin is a snapshot of identity, both personal and collective. Whether made by a religious group, a historical society, or a single craftsman, the coin reflects a mindset, one that values strength, heritage, and divine acknowledgement. Its use of the lion and biblical motto may have been intended to inspire courage and faith during a difficult time. And even now, decades later, that message still resonates. It connects us with those who came before, reminding us of their beliefs, their struggles, and their hope. To sum it all up, this 1991 South African coin is more than just an old piece of metal. It's a forgotten voice cast in silver. It speaks of courage, faith, and transition. From its powerful lion and mysterious H.A.P.D mark to its noble coat of arms and timeless Latin inscription, everything about it tells a story worth remembering. And here on Historic Coin, we believe that every coin has a story, even if time tried to erase it. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because with us, every coin you discover will bring history back to life.